One of the best things about Breath of the Wild was the ability to climb anything, but in Tears of the Kingdom, it looks like skydiving is the new ability we are all going to fall in love with. Well, today I'd like to have a closer look at skydiving in Tears of the Kingdom and talk about a few features Nintendo are holding very close to their chest and yet to reveal in the trailers so far. Well, before Breath of the Wild, Nintendo focused on their climbing mechanics to promote the sense of exploration and adventure in the game. Yeah, anywhere that you could see, you could go there and you could pretty much climb any surface as long as you had the stamina for it. So looking to freshen things up for Tears of the Kingdom, well, the Zelda team have focused on a new mechanic, and that is skydiving. Climbing in Breath of the Wild promoted the sense of exploration, adventure, but also perhaps the most important thing, and that is player choice. On the surface, climbing may seem like a very simple feature, but this helped Breath of the Wild feel like a true open-world sandbox where Link could approach problems in multiple ways. You could literally climb around enemies if you wanted to, or even climb on some enemies if they were big enough. You could climb a mountain and paraglide over the problem if that was in your way. Climbing is key to the player's choice in Breath of the Wild, and skydiving could have a similar impact in the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Well, skydiving has been front and centre of the marketing for Tears of the Kingdom, dating all the way back to the E3 2021 trailer. Previous to that, we did have an announcement that Tears of the Kingdom was in development. Well, at the time, it was known as the sequel to Breath of the Wild, but we only got a couple of pre-rendered cutscenes which focused on Link and Zelda underground in Hyrule, discovering the mummified body of Ganondorf. Now, ever since that trailer, we've been treated to Link running and jumping off of Sky Islands and other mid-air platforms, falling at speed towards the ground, and then paragliding to safety, or maybe even diving into a river. In the recent gameplay demo from IGL Numa, we had confirmation that the sequence from Sky Island to ground will happen seamlessly in a single shot, no cutting away and no loading, so I'm not sure we've grasped the massive impact this is going to have on the open world experience gameplay. So I think it's going to have just as much impact, if not more, than when we first discovered climbing in Breath of the Wild. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how the Nintendo Switch copes with this gameplay mechanic, given it's likely to be fairly demanding on the hardware to maintain this seamless feeling for the audience. Now, Breath of the Wild was a great game, but at times the system did chug along, with textures popping in. Now, I don't really think we're going to have a Pokemon Scarlet situation here, which released in a completely broken state. Now, this could be one of the reasons why Nintendo want to get the Nintendo Switch OLED in people's hands, so they're not using their base model 2017 Switch to run Tears of the Kingdom in 2023. Well, the combination of climbing and skydiving is going to supercharge that feeling of exploration in Tears of the Kingdom. You know, having the ability to climb anything on the ground in Hyrule was a fantastic feeling. But now we're going to have various means to travel all the way to the Sky Islands. Then once we're done exploring, we're going to be able to jump off at will. So if climbing in Breath of the Wild elevated that sense of choice, then skydiving is going to reinforce that sense of freedom in a Zelda game and could elevate this game above and beyond even Breath of the Wild. Well, jumping off the Sky Islands is one thing, but we've also seen footage of Link running and jumping off of flying machines as well. So Link has a large flying winged machine in the trailer. It looks like it could be of Rito design. This flying machine catches Link at one point in one of the previous trailers as he bends down to gain control. However, in the recent Japanese trailer, we see Link running and jumping off it mid-flight. Nintendo is likely to provide us various upgrades for skydiving too. We've seen a couple of examples in trailers so far. For example, we can see Link flying through a laser-filled tunnel with what looks to be a wingsuit. Now, hopefully we are not restricted to just using this wingsuit in this location, and we can use it all over Hyrule. We've also seen Link flying with Tulin, battling against a huge boss-like monster, so I imagine this is going to upgrade our diving and maybe even our flying abilities. Well, there is something that we are yet to see in the trailers, and that is MidAir Combat. I think Nintendo is saving this gameplay reveal for when players get their hands on the game, because this one is going to be huge. Nintendo patented a new type of aerial combat, suggesting Link can shoot arrows while skydiving, opening up the potential for battles in the sky. There's one thing to battle on the back of this winged device, there's another thing to battle while falling. Now, looking at that patent, we have 3 states, so vertically downwards, with the character diving and pointing the bow and the arrow directly down. We've got the second state where you're diving diagonally down towards a target, and then we've got a third state where Link is upward relative to the reference of the direction, and it looks like Link is almost in a sitting position when he's travelling through the sky. So we've seen Link falling through the sky, and IGL Numa demonstrated falling faster if we choose, so there's a couple of scenarios there, skydiving normally and also going vertically downwards as if speeding up in the sky. However, IGL Numa didn't demonstrate that mid-air combat. Now, I think this is going to be a very, very cool reveal, opening up all kinds of possibilities and combat in mid-air. Well, in Skyward Sword, we could battle in the sky whilst travelling on the back of a loft wing, but this mechanic in Tears of the Kingdom opens up the potential for big sky battles and points to more of Tears of the Kingdom taking place in the sky as well as on the ground in Hyrule. So we've known for a long time that we're going to be travelling between the ground and also the floating islands in the sky, but these patents here point to potential gameplay elements in the space between the ground and the sky and having to battle our way downwards. We've also seen in the trailers with Tulin we are boss battling in the sky. It looks like there is a bug or an insect creature inside the middle of a tornado, so I would imagine a lot of gameplay mechanics are going to happen in the sky. For example, when IGL Numa showed us diving off those sky islands, or when Link got hit off those sky islands and we were diving to the ground, it took a minute or so to get to the ground. So given there's all that time and all that space, I imagine later on in the game, once we have mastered our skydiving abilities, we're going to be doing much more than just diving from point A to point B, from the sky to the ground. I reckon we're going to be fighting and doing all sorts while we are in the sky. Well, skydiving is clearly going to be a huge part of Tears of the Kingdom, giving us that sense of freedom and choice, much like climbing opened up Breath of the Wild. We've seen Link's skydiving abilities will be upgradable through various wingsuits, and I would love to see more things like this for the paraglider to help us for the soft landing. So given we're going to be jumping out the sky on a regular basis, having multiple ways to have a soft landing is really going to help us a lot. So the potential impact here for skydiving is super exciting, especially when it's seamless from the sky to the ground, like it's going to be in the Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. Well, let me know in the comments what you think about skydiving, and do you think it's going to have a similar impact to climbing? Well, that is it for this look at skydiving in Tears of the Kingdom, and as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Legend of Zelda content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to Triforce Times. Or you can check me out on Twitter at Triforce Times. Well, if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, you can check out all the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.